I've been telling you for months that a simple hand sketch is your best way of controlling AI images, so you can stop spending days competing for work you may not even get and start presenting your ideas in minutes. But I realize there may be some skeptics out there thinking that the sketches I claim take less than an hour are things I've worked on ahead of time. So I built this. I call it the Design Project Generator. 4 wheels, one for the client, one for the place, one for the project type, and one for an architectural twist. 5 possibilities on each wheel, 625 total combinations. I spin it at the beginning of every video, and whatever comes up, I have to draw it in 10 minutes or less. Not to prove I'm fast, just to prove that these sketches don't have to be pretty or perfect. They just have to be clear and proportionally accurate. And at the end of those 10 minutes, I drop whatever I have into Nano Banana, same prompt every time, and you and I see what comes out together, good or bad, no exceptions. Ready? Now, I don't know what you folks do when you first get a project, but I know what I do, and that's procrastinate. But I don't have that chance tonight. So I'm going to put this down. Solo academic. I'm looking at my whole criteria there, my project brief. And let's just start. So I'm in Procreate. You can do this in Morpholio Trace too. Oh, did I mention that I'm also going to be running the audio continuously? I'm not going to edit myself or anything, so you can see the actual thought process and the drawing process, and it's just going to hopefully add to the excitement here, so it's already got me excited. I'll be honest, I had to look up what a mesa was, okay? And it's one of those guys that you see all the time in the John Wayne movies and the Westerns. You know, they go off into the distance and they're just flat. Mesa means table in Spanish, apparently. So that's what it is, and that's what I'll be drawing. And I guess if you're from Australia, you're probably thinking the dingo ate my baby right now, but that's neither here nor there. So I'll go back to the beginning, and we've got a solo academic. So what's a solo academic? I think it's a person that is by themselves, that they lead an intellectual life. So they're very thoughtful, and then this is going to be for an art studio. It's going to be a kind of place that there'll be probably one of these deals, where you have the studio windows and the inside. It's like that's for art, I suppose. And that would be a very nice place to work. But there might also be, so there could be paintings in there, and he or she could be going crazy. There could also be a beautiful piano in there, and there could be somebody that's playing, recording kind of thing. So it's going to be this isolated place in the desert. So, a fantastic place to get away and really think about things. So that's going to be one of my criteria. And you're going to see me, I'm going to add layers here so I keep the original layers. So I'll go back, I'll hold 3 fingers down, and I'll go all the way back to the most recent thing I had, and I'll turn off that layer and I'll add another layer. And this is the great thing about Procreate for those that aren't aware of it. So we're going to have an art studio, we're going to have terraces. Maybe I'm looking at that contrast between that incredible flatness and the top of this design. And you guys all know that this is not an advised way to design. You really want to start by listening to your client intensely and learning all about them. But I'm going to be making up what my client is all about. So you're going to see me just kind of whistle through here, and look at this. I've already burned 3 minutes, so I'm in trouble here. So let me just go with this. I don't know that, I'm not in love with that. I'm going to add a layer, turn that off. I'm going to add a layer. Maybe the most obvious thing is to go with some effect like this, that a mesa that might have kept building up and ended up at this point. That's the terraces part. And maybe the house adds something more to that and comes back down the mesa a little bit. So here's the mesa here, and I'll go to flat marker. So here's the mesa, and that helps me get a little bit of a figure ground going there. So that's one of my favorite brushes, by the way, the flat marker. Now I'll go back to that technical pen, and what does this get us? I don't know. Does that get us anything interesting at all? Do we begin to cut into the mesa? And forgive me, I know we could never do that in a national park, but maybe that's cool. Maybe we cut into the mesa, and let's see what that would look like on a larger scale. Let's keep that very light maybe in the background, and let's add a layer. And I'm down to 5 minutes now. Oh God, whoa, hello, 5 minutes. And so let's go. I'm going to totally obliterate that. I don't have the time to mess around with that. So let's go. We're going to have a house, and I think the best way to look at this is maybe from the top. Okay, so let's say that there are these things we just talked about, these extensions of the terraces that are in contrast, let's call it, to the mesa. The mesa is going to be like this. I'm not really sure what these mesas do when they work themselves around, but I'll give some light lines for that so it's clear what that is. And then let's say you get up there, and then the traditional terracing begins. So I'll go out to here, and maybe there's a point where it cascades, it just cuts over one more time and starts to go down the hill. And this is the one that's just a little bit, doesn't go all the way down. This one is probably an elevator or something. Let's see. So here's my first terrace. And so a figure is probably about this big. It's going to be a very big house. It's going to be a very wealthy solo academic. And these mesas are formed by, I believe it's basalt. They're actually the survivors of ancient volcanoes. So if there could be something about a volcano, maybe there's not water, because water would be terrible to waste in the desert. But let's say there's some sort of conceptual thing that comes down. Maybe it is water sometimes when the spring season comes, and maybe it's a thing that celebrates the change of the seasons. Wow, 3 minutes left. Not good. Let's see, we need a little bit of, what do we need? We've got our terraces. We've got our art studio. We don't have our art studio yet. Let's do that. Let's start adding some cascading studio glass and see what else happens. I'm going to go back to I'm going to go to a new layer and quickly add some marker magic, okay? Because this is the thing that Nano Banana, it's going to help Nano Banana to see what my goals are, okay? So I need to give this some marker magic and have that come down into the desert. And then I'm going to thin up this brush and give it some sculpting like this. And let's say that we go down here, and this is the dramatic part that goes all the way down. And here are the studio windows. I think I might even add some blue just so Nano Banana knows what we're talking about. There's studio windows. Maybe there's one over here. Maybe there's one here where you first come in. Let's go back to black, and we'll go to the technical pen. And I might ask, I can't ask for an extension, but let's see. Now we're going to notch things. Let's do a kind of a Paolo Soleri or a very kind of Raymond Abraham sort of approach to the actual fenestration. And let's end with a, what should we end with? I don't know. I don't want to get too crazy and too high, but let's say that's good. Now I got to give more context to Nano Banana, otherwise it's going to be wondering what I have in mind here. And I've got about a minute left, and boy, is that thing going to be loud when it goes off. Trust me on this one. So let's say our horizon is up here, and we have to honor that thing. We're going to have other mesas around. I cannot quite remember what they look like, so I'm going to summon my best memory of Westerns. That one's too high, because I don't think they'd be above the horizon, or would they? Maybe they would be. Okay, so we have this, and then we need a way to get to this mesa, so I don't know what that's going to be. Maybe these are the guest houses down below, and maybe there's some sort of ceremonial, beautiful, simple pathway around this thing, like this, okay? And it comes here, and I guess this is the garage, and the pool. Oh, there's got to be a pool up there somewhere. Let's, it's too late for that. But here's some more cascading. Here's that art studio. And we have got, oh boy. Okay, let's see what happens, folks. 10 minutes is not enough, but Nano Banana is going to do some amazing things with this, I'm sure. So here's where things get interesting. I jump into Nano Banana, and before I even import the sketch, I grab that universal prompt we've been building across the last few videos. It lives under personal intelligence in instructions, and it's all triggered by a single word, studio. And just a quick note, you can download that prompt plus the original Procreate file and all the Nano Banana outputs from this video by clicking the link at the top of the description below. What that does is it kicks off a quick 4-part interview where Gemini asks me, what are the materials, where is the site, what are the lighting and weather conditions, and what is the story I want to tell with the rendering. And this part is huge, because instead of guessing, and because I've uploaded my sketch, I'm now controlling the AI. It's working for me, not the other way around. So I paste in the prompt, drop in the sketch, and right away it asks the first question, what are the materials? Now, I usually just hit the mic and dictate my answers because it's way faster than typing for me. So I tell it I'm imagining materials that are rugged, simple, and suited for a harsh desert climate. Basically the same instructions you'll see in that first prompt in the download. So next, Gemini asks about the site and geography. And I start with Desert Mesa because that came straight from the sketch generator. But from there, I'm not being rigid. I just start talking. And because I'm dictating, the prompts kind of overlap. I'll mix in building ideas, little details, whatever comes to mind. And that's really the beauty of this. You're not filling out a form, you're just building the whole thing up as you go. So next it asks about lighting and atmosphere, and I already know where I'm going with this one. Peaceful early morning, that cool, quiet desert moment before the heat of the day sets in. And then the last question, my favorite one, what's the story? And here I just go for it. I start pulling in anything I missed, adding details, pushing the mood, trying to make it feel as cinematic as possible, because honestly, this is our first sketch generator video and I want it to be a success. And yeah, I'm a little unsure. The sketch was pretty simple. I don't fully know if this is going to work. So I send off the prompt, and lo and behold, the first image comes back, and I gotta say, I'm kind of happy. It's really all there. The lone academic working on his sculpture, the dramatic desert mesa, all the landscape features I asked for, even the terraced forms I sketched start to evolve, fitting themselves to the top of the mesa with the pool, the waterfall, all the slightly impractical ideas somehow working. And then the details that bring it to life, that early morning light, the Range Rover down at the base. I mean, you'll see it when you download the image. It's kind of amazing how much comes through. But I still have one thing on my mind. I want to see this at night. So I add one more prompt, push the cinematic side even further, and when the image comes back, I am genuinely excited, because at that point it clicks. The sketch does not have to be beautiful, it just has to be clear and proportional. The sketch plus the prompt, that's what gives us real control over the AI. If you'd like to learn more about the live Draw Along Studio, we meet 3 times a month, and each session starts with a sketch and ends with a win, a set of Nano Banana images built from your own work. Week by week, you'll build a portfolio of your best ideas while working alongside a supportive group of peers and honestly, having a great time doing it. Think of it like a gym for drawing, something that keeps you accountable, moving forward, and in control as we step into this AI-driven future. You can join the waiting list at the link in the description below, and if you want to see the next episode of this series, click right here. I'll see you in the next video. That's a good one. And here we go again.